For more than 4 decades, one country has lived under constant pressure, isolation, sanctions, threats, and shadow wars. Yet it still stands. That country is Iran. To understand Iran today, you have to go back to 1979. Before that year, Iran was one of America's closest allies in the Middle East. The Shah ruled with Western backing, oil flowed freely, and Washington had enormous influence inside the country. But beneath the surface, anger was growing about corruption, inequality, foreign control, and a feeling that Iran's future was being decided by outsiders. When the Iranian Revolution erupted, it shocked the world. Almost overnight, a U.S.-backed monarchy collapsed and was replaced by a revolutionary government that openly rejected American dominance. From that moment on, Iran was no longer just another country in the region. It became a symbol of resistance for some, and a major threat for others. The response was immediate. Diplomatic ties were cut. Sanctions began. Iran was politically isolated. Then came one of the most devastating chapters in its history, the Iran-Iraq War. In 1980, Saddam Hussein's Iraq invaded Iran, backed financially and militarily by multiple world powers. Iran was young, unstable, and newly sanctioned. Many believed it would collapse within weeks. Instead, it endured 8 brutal years of war. Cities were bombed. Hundreds of thousands died. Chemical weapons were used against Iranian soldiers. Yet Iran did not break. When the war ended, Iran was exhausted, economically damaged, and still isolated. But it had learned a crucial lesson. Survival meant self-reliance. From that point on, Iran began building its own systems. Cut off from Western weapons, it developed domestic military industries. Blocked from global finance, it created alternative trade networks. Pressured diplomatically, it invested heavily in regional alliances. What sanctions were meant to destroy instead forced adaptation. Over the years, pressure only increased. The United States labeled Iran part of the axis of evil. Sanctions tightened again and again, targeting oil exports, banking, even medicine. Israel repeatedly warned of military action. Cyber attacks, assassinations of Iranian scientists, covert operations, all became part of a long, undeclared conflict. Yet Iran did not disappear. Instead, it expanded its influence across the region. In Iraq after the U.S. invasion, in Syria during the Civil War, in Lebanon through Hezbollah, and in Yemen through political and strategic ties. Supporters call this defense. Critics call it destabilization. Either way, it reshaped the balance of power in the Middle East. Iran also became a master of asymmetric warfare, not fighting powerful enemies head-on, but using strategy, patience, and indirect pressure. Drones, missiles, cyber capabilities, and regional partnerships allowed it to respond without triggering full-scale war. Again and again, predictions of collapse proved wrong. Inside the country, life has not been easy. Ordinary Iranians have paid a heavy price. Inflation, unemployment, restricted access to global markets. Protests have erupted. Dissatisfaction exists. But despite internal challenges and external pressure, the state itself has remained intact. Perhaps the most striking part of Iran's story is not victory, but endurance. When the U.S. left the nuclear deal and imposed maximum pressure, many expected Iran's economy to implode completely. It didn't. When Israeli officials warned of decisive strikes, Iran adapted its defenses. When isolated from the West, Iran turned east, strengthening ties with China, Russia, and regional neighbors. Today, Iran is still sanctioned, still pressured, still targeted, yet still negotiating, still influencing regional events, still shaping its own path. Whether admired or criticized, ignored or feared, it refuses to vanish. This is why Iran's story resonates with millions around the world. Not because it is perfect, not because it is universally right, but because it represents something rare in modern geopolitics, a nation that has faced relentless pressure from the most powerful forces on Earth and continues to stand on its own terms. In a world where smaller countries are often forced to submit or collapse, Iran chose resistance, adaptation, and survival. And regardless of where one stands politically, that reality cannot be denied.